So it's a beautiful day outside, but safety first. Gotta go ahead and get these worn brake pads swapped out with some EBC sintered brakes I got from my local Mountain Motorsports for 40 bucks. It's probably time to change this rotor out too, but I had some other things I have to take care of on my list, so I'll do another video on swapping that out one day. So before I take off these two 12mm bolts to get the caliper off of the fork, I'm going to use a T5 Allen head to loosen these two bolts right here. Those are used to hold the brake pads inside the caliper. Go ahead and loosen those. Now I'm going to switch over on 12mm and take off, well, I'm going to get this ABS wire out the way. Just pop it out of these plastic holders, top and bottom, just so I can get to that. Go ahead. Take these out. And these are both the same size, so you don't have to worry about which one goes to top and bottom. They're both the same. Go ahead and slide our caliper out of there. As you can see, I did not have a lot of life left on these pads compared to the new ones. Oh boy. Look how far out that piston came. You can see where that fresh metal came out. And also my reservoir is low up on the handlebars, so I'm glad I caught this now. I'll hold my hand under there just so that they don't drop out. These pins that I'm about to remove go through these holes on the pad, so they stay in place and they don't drop out on you under braking or anything like that. I think that's far enough. You could probably take a screwdriver out the back and push the pins through further. So there's one. There's the second one. Both of these are the same size, so they could be swapped around. Definitely going to clean those off with some brake parts cleaner, but there they are. And then your pads, I've been holding them, but they're ready to just fall right out. It's a little retainer clip in there. Probably going to clean that off. I got some brake parts cleaner. Don't want to spray the pistons directly because there's some very sensitive rubber seals in there, but gonna put on a rag and wipe around. Taking a look at our pads, they are pretty thin compared to our new ones. Don't have that slot in there, but might be alright. Ooh wee. Yeah, that wear mark is just barely there. So can't wait to get those in. See how the bike feels. Look at that. Beautiful. And make sure this, make sure the caliper moves freely. Pushing on that. That looks good. Pistons are looking clean. That clip looks clean. Before I push these pistons back, got to come up here and take this cap off. So the fluid, well, so you can keep an eye on the fluid as it's coming back up. Don't want to cause any leaks or anything. And while we're here, even though it has a sight glass in the front, I want to get an actual eyeball on the state of the fluid. Pop that off. Got a little cover. So you should probably stop here, but I just want to take a look. Goodness, another cover. And there's your brake fluid. It's a little brown, but I think that should be alright. Go ahead, pop that back on. And I'm going to leave that just like that. If it wants to vent, it can vent. I got a clamp with some rubber tips on it. So I can go ahead and come out, get in there on one piston. Start squeezing that back in. Paying attention, looking up top at the fluid, make sure I'm not spilling out, going too far or anything. So that should be alright. A little socket. Drop that down in there. And try again. That should be good enough. Give me some brake and caliper grease. I'm going to put a nice little film on here, on the back of the pads, pistons, a little clip in there. So I got me a little paintbrush. I'm just going to come in here, coat these friction surfaces. All the way. Get the back of this. Keep help the pad slide on that surface. So there's that. Got one of the pins. Go ahead. Get some on there. Not a whole lot. Just enough to coat it. And hopefully that'll be enough to make it on the inside of the hole that the pin goes through on the brake pad. Keep that from seizing up. Set that to the side. So this brake pad with the extension on it interfaces with this piece up here, which I guess I should put some more. Should put some grease on that as well, since that is going to be a surface for it to slide on. I'm going to put this guy in first. Some grease on the back where it touches the pistons. Slide that in. Just like that. Now we got our other one. catch this guy at the back, and that drops right down there. Hold that. I got my first greased pin. I'm going to slide that back in here. Wiggle it around a little bit, push down. It's got to go through everything. Just like that. Let's check the back. Boom. So that's one pin. And that's going to hold both of those, so I can let that go. Come over here to my second pin. A little bit more grease. And then we'll slide that in the other hole. See it through there. Push down on your pads. Look to the back. See it there. That looks good. So I can go ahead and tighten those down. These pins are responsible for keeping the pads in alignment. Make sure you get them pretty tight. I don't know what the torque spec is, so nice little whoop should do it. Alright. Got a little bit of a gap there, so we'll see if we can clear the rotor. Boom. That slides on just like that. Grab your bolts. Get them started. Get them aligned. Go ahead and tighten those to some torque spec. Gluten tight. The ABS wire back in little holsters, and that's a brake job. Come up here and look at our fluid level. Ooh, that is pretty full. That's good. Stick that back on there. Put your screws back in. That's a job well done.